This male lion had long been dead. Yet, even in death, his proud head refused to bow. His decaying eyes still stared ahead, waiting for his mate to return. The bond between this lion couple was unbreakable. Unlike most male lions, he chose to live in a true monogamous relationship, just one mate for life. They had once roamed the vast savanna together, raising 3 young cubs. But as humans expanded their settlements, encroaching on the lands of wild animals, a northern lion pride was forced to move into their territory. When these invaders arrived, the old lion had no choice but to stand and fight to defend his family and land. But he was past his prime. Against 2 young, strong males, defeat was inevitable. At the same time, his mate, Matitao, was ambushed by the invading lionesses. The battle was brutal. Matitao was left battered and bloody. But the enemy's leader, a fierce lioness, known as Silver, Inyan, lost an eye in the fight. Escaping the ambush, Matitao's first thought was to find her mate. She called for him again, and again no answer. She searched tirelessly until she finally spotted his familiar figure. But her mate was mortally wounded, both eyes blind. Sensing her presence, he trembled toward her. His final wish was to see his beloved one last time. When that wish was granted, he finally let go. His proud head bowed at last, leaving this harsh world behind. Now Matitao faced 2 choices: submit to the new rulers and save her own life, but watch her 3 cubs be slaughtered by the new king, or flee into the unknown, risking everything to protect her young. Without hesitation, for her cubs, Matitao chose the latter. But the new king wasn't about to let them go. He immediately sent a lion in pursuit. With an enemy hot on their heels, Matitao and her cubs were cornered, and suddenly came face to face with Silver Eye again, her old rival. Now one-eyed, and even more dangerous. Surrounded, with no options left, Matitao did the unthinkable. She plunged into a deep river teeming with crocodiles. Big cats hate water, but today, she had no choice. If she stayed to fight, her cubs would surely die. Without fear, she leaped in. Her eldest cub quickly followed. Then the second. Only her youngest hesitated, while the pursuing lion drew closer. Matitao and the 2 cubs reached the far shore, watching the little one with anxious eyes, urging him on. At last, the youngest cub entered the water, but it was too late. A crocodile had already locked onto him. With one vicious snap, he vanished beneath the waves. Matitao stared in silent grief. In a single day, she had lost both her mate and her cub. She blamed herself for failing to protect them. Meanwhile, the new king was quite pleased. His rivals had been driven from his land, carrying her remaining 2 cubs. Matitao began a life on the run. Before long, they discovered a small, quiet island safe. For now, no other lions in sight. Matitao resolved to raise her cubs here, to help them survive their first, most dangerous year. But being a single mother in the wild isn't easy. First, they needed food. The island was barren, no easy prey. She eyed a herd of massive elephants, then glanced at the birds above, her mind racing. At that moment, a herd of water buffalo arrived, also driven out by humans. The herd's leader was a towering, powerful bull. Without giving Matitao time to think, the buffalo aggressively drove her off. One lioness alone was no match for a coordinated herd. Still, Matitao refused to back down. She tried again and again to hunt them, and failed every time. Realizing that adult buffalo were too strong, she set her sights on the calves. One day, seizing a rare moment when the herd dropped its guard, Matitao pounced and pinned down a young calf. But before she could deliver the fatal bite, the calf's mother charged in to protect it. It was a fight between 2 mothers, one trying to feed her cubs, the other defending her own. There was no right or wrong, only instinct. In the end, Matitao failed once again. Her milk dried up. Her cubs grew weaker, yet they clung to her silently, as if to comfort her. For their sake, Matitao forced herself to rise and try again. She devised a new strategy. If she could scatter the herd in a panic, she might isolate a target. But she was still too weak alone. Before she could recover her strength, Her old rival Silver Eye appeared again, this time with a pride of lionesses, intent on killing Matitao's cubs, sensing the threat. Matitao stood in front of her cubs, roaring fiercely to warn the intruders. The lionesses hesitated. It was their first time on this island, the unfamiliarity making them wary. Seizing the moment, Matitao fled with her cubs, but the buffalo had grown fed up. Believing the lionesses were Matitao's allies, they attacked them, sending Silver Eye's pride into disarray. During the chaos, Matitao carefully observed the herd and spotted a weakness when the buffalo fled into the water. Their size and strength were diminished. Water could be her advantage. Determined, she made her move. But she didn't know that Silver Eye was stalking her cubs. When Silver Eye closed in, the cubs realized the danger and tried to run. In a flash, Matitao appeared, rage burning in her eyes. Silver Eye was frozen. In fear, before she could react, she lay defeated, begging for mercy. Matitao let her live this time, but a new dilemma arose. Should she go hunt, or stay to protect her cubs? Either choice carried great risk. In the end, she chose to take a chance, hiding her cubs near the buffalo herd, using them as a natural shield, and went hunting. Overcoming her fear of water, she swam to attack. The buffalo never expected a lion to strike from below. Panic broke out. In the chaos, Matitao seized another calf. But before she could feast, a pack of wild dogs arrived. Outnumbered, she had no choice but to retreat. Though exhausted and empty-handed again, she had at least eaten a few bites, enough for her milk to return. But that night, the buffalo discovered her cubs' hiding spot. Seeking revenge, they attacked. At dawn, Matitao returned joyfully, ready to feed her young, only to find them gone. Frantic, she searched everywhere. Finally, a faint cry led her to her daughter, her spine crushed. Unable to move, Matitao gently licked her child, but knew the truth. There was no saving her, even paralyzed. The cub struggled to crawl after her mother, desperation in her eyes. Unable to bear it, Matitao closed her eyes, turning away, her heart breaking. With the loss of her last daughter, she was no longer a grieving mother. She was a lioness, out for vengeance. The sight of her daughter's blood still staining a buffalo's horn ignited a fire inside her. Without hesitation, she charged the massive bull, clawing and biting with all her might. Wounded, she refused to back down. Her roar of grief echoed across the island, summoning Silver Eye once more. But Matitao wasn't afraid. She had nothing left to lose. Facing her old rival head-on, she defeated Silver Eye in a single strike, banishing her from the pride, now the true queen of the island. Matitao rallied the pride. Together, they launched a full assault on the buffalo, splitting the lead bull from the herd. They attacked relentlessly, but the bull's cries summoned the herd back. Amid the chaos, Matitao spotted a tiny figure, her lost son. Her heart leaped. She rushed to his side. In that moment, she was no longer a warrior, but a mother once more. Yet the buffalo closed in, ready to finish them. At the last second, Silver Eye reappeared, not as an enemy, but as an ally. The two old rivals exchanged a glance, understood each other. With Matitao's roar, the pride attacked in unison. Finally, the great bull fell. The lions triumphed. Matitao had avenged her daughter. She was now the undisputed queen of the island, ready to raise her son too, lead the pride one day.